Hello again, Internet. We're back on the next installment of the Atlanta Brains video series. And if you've been tuning in, you know that the Atlanta Brains video series is a storytelling platform where different movers and shakers and influencers and culture and tastemakers can come and kind of share their story. And we can kind of glean some of the insights and help you, inspire you towards what your version of success is. And so, it takes place in Atlanta. And I'm here today with Summer Jo, and I'm really excited to speak with her. I know she does a lot of different things. I'm always fascinated by people who have different interests but find a way to blend them all together. So Summer Jo here is actually really into photography, food, and philanthropy. And so I'm curious, Summer, how do you manage to bring all of those together and brighten up the world?
I didn't necessarily have a plan for it in the beginning, but when I thought about it, it really all just came together. When you're doing a puzzle and all the pieces just fall into place. Because when I was younger, let's say kindergarten, and then again in 5th grade, these are just key moments. I've always wanted to own my own restaurant. I've always wanted to save the world. I've always wanted to be a creative entrepreneur, but at the time I just called it all-around artist. And I was always planning from different birthday parties, events, little concerts.
Really? Concerts?
Mm-hmm.
Like as a kid?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Matter of fact, because my uncle was a producer, my grandpa had a band, but I didn't do it for them. I just did it like family reunions and small scale. Then photography, so it all kind of blended together because for my events I would do my own catering, do my own photography, really everything. So I would do the planning, the promotions, the marketing, the staffing, the photography, the graphic design. That's also the content and marketing. But just became full service. I started, my first business card was a photography business card, and then I added to a graphic design, and then I added to it event planning, and then I added the catering. And at first I never wanted to advertise the catering, but then some of my clients just somehow found out about it and they started booking me, and then it just came all together. And the philanthropy came from also the events and the food, and just from another road of consistency of keeping that going, people supporting, staying with it and loyal to the point where like, okay, let's just do this. And it seems to just have revealed itself as my purpose.
Wow. Revealed itself as your purpose. That's powerful. There's a couple things that you said that I kind of want to expound upon. Now you said road of consistency. Wow, I've never heard that before. That's really, really powerful. On this road of consistency, and it sounds like there's a couple of things, and I didn't know about you planning things that young. I always say that you can kind of look back at the things that interest you when you were a kid and draw inspiration from that for what you should be doing now. And it sounds like you've pretty much like mastered that, and that's exciting.
It's crazy.
But on the road of consistency, I mean, can you think of any times in particular where you may have hit some obstacles or may have felt discouraged, and during those times, what did you do to continue being consistent?
When you asked that question, I thought about two things. The first, really with photography and the catering, I never knew, because it was my passion, I would do it whether I was paid or not. When people wanted to hire me, I didn't know how much to charge. So I just used those moments to do my research, because one thing, at the time I was 12. But so my first real gig was to shoot someone's wedding, and I'm 12.
Wow.
But they just believed in me. They had another shooter. So there was no pressure on me, but they allowed me that experience, and they still paid me. And I think they paid me $500, but for a 12-year-old, that's a lot.
Yep.
And
to shoot some pictures.
I shot way too many pictures, so that was when I was realizing, like, okay, I love this and all, but the editing and sending that back, goodness, it took way too long. I think I had like 1,300 photos or plus, maybe more than that. But it was a destination wedding too. I just loved it because I love landscape photography. I see, it's all art.
Yeah.
So I just see the picture, not just the picture that I'm taking, but just as if it's in a frame.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, not the camera frame, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway.
Yeah, like you take that moment and you're present there.
Exactly.
Although you capture it, you're also there and experiencing
it just felt so powerful. Like I felt like I was a superhero, and that was my superpower to just freeze time and create those memories. And then second, with the catering, like I said, my first client was actually an athlete, and he was one of the clients I was shooting, and he just randomly hit me up asking me to do a Mother's Day brunch. And I'm like, oh goodness, what do I charge for that? Because I wasn't charging. I mean, I was just doing my summer eats, and I was only, even with that, I love to give, I love to cater, and to the point where people were like, well, we got to pay something. I'm like, well, just put $5 on it. And then they decided to inflate the price themselves to $20, and then even more than that. So then when I got this bigger gig, I'm like, here I go again. But it took just doing the research, finding a mentor who basically was like, okay, well, look at your track record and what do you feel like you're worth? I'm like, well, what I feel like I'm worth. I was like, I don't think I should charge. But they said, well, start small and then go up. You'll get comfortable with it. So I still didn't know what to charge them. At first, I'm like, okay, well, this is a list of groceries. We could just do that. Just because he was an athlete, I'm like, I'm not going to charge him an arm and a leg because they got the money for it.
You're better than me, I'll tell you that. Because I would have came with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and charged.
It's just, I mean, the money will come. And I feel like just being that, I guess, humble, it paid off. Because they definitely paid 3 times what I was charging.
Wow. That's interesting that you say the money will come. What I'm starting to realize in a capitalist society, and I'm kind of living in this, but when you focus on being a person of value and focus on cultivating and deepening your valuable skills, then like you said, the money just kind of flows towards you. That's where the money goes towards value in a capitalist society.
It's helped me the most, that word of mouth. When they know you are delivering good service, you're a good person, and your product is good and you deliver well. I haven't really. When's the last time you see me just promote my work or whatever?
Honestly, I don't see you promote it at all. Like I see other people post things with you on it. I don't even really see you post anything on Instagram. Yeah. And so like that's another thing too, man. You're such a bright personality and so memorable. And we've only really crossed paths a couple of times, but it feels like I know you really well. And everyone always has good things to say about you. Can you speak to me about the importance of leveraging relationships or nurturing relationships and being a good business person and being successful in business?
That's what I was saying. Self-care. Taking time for yourself, because you will run yourself dry if you keep trying to make people, keep others happy. And that was one of the things that was important to me, to make sure, I don't want to disappoint them, but I was getting sick, literally physically sick, because I was trying to keep everyone else happy. But low-key, this year has been good for me because I finally had the time to sleep. I finally had time to take care of myself and do what I want to do with nobody else pressuring me, to the point, like I said before, where I could get a booking request and I would just pass it to somebody else, because I'm like, I think I'm going to take a nap today. I think I'm going to enjoy this bath. You know what? Hawaii's looking nice.
Nice.
Actually, I just got an email for flight deal, so I might take that.
Go ahead. Go out there.
But really, you treat yourself well. Journal, meditate. It might be hard at first, but to put yourself first, and then you can take care of everyone else. Once you take care of yourself first, you can take care of everyone else, and then it really just it'll feel natural. You really won't. It won't be a struggle to try to keep those relationships alive, because they'll either find that as an inspiration to give you that space and time, or they'll see that they need to take care of themselves, or I don't know. I mean, it really hasn't been much pressure for me. I just treat people how I want to be treated.
That's the golden rule right there. Treat people the way you want to be treated. That's
love all, trust a few, do wrong to no one.
Love all, trust. Where'd you get that from? Where did you make that up? Is that
no,
from a book?
I forgot. Somebody made it up, but it's been one of my favorite quotes for about 16. So or so years.
Okay. Speaking of quotes, like I said, you're just one of those remarkable people that people get an opportunity to meet. Is there anybody who inspired or inspire you currently, who you look up to for influence, motivation?
Currently?
Mm-hmm. Or even throughout your childhood. I mean, when you were, cooking back then, were you looking up to a chef?
I have a list, and it's kind of, I feel like it's a rotating list.
It works like that.
So growing up, Michael Jackson was my influence. Okay. Just more so his music, though. It really, I can't really relate it to any song, but my favorite songs were Man in the Mirror and Butterflies.
Wow. Have you heard the original with, who's the group, Floetry?
That's not the original, is it?
That's not the original? I thought that was the original Michael Jackson.
Even Alicia Keys has a remake of it, too.
Oh, so it was a remix. Man, either way, both of those songs are really, really powerful. And honestly, most times when I hear Man on the Mirror, it doesn't, especially if I'm by myself, I cry. I legitimately cry. Yeah. when the choir comes in at the end.
Exactly.
Just 2 thug tears, it's overwhelming. But it's a very, very moving song. And then you think about when Chris Brown sang it, he cried.
It's so funny because even my mom knew when I close my door and I play my music, especially Michael Jackson, she does not bother me. Mm-hmm. It's a moment. Yeah. But that's how music is for me in general. So really to answer your question, music has been my biggest inspiration. Okay. And then, because I love Tupac, Guapole, Missy Elliott. And it really wasn't to do with them as a person. It was just the music and how it made me feel. Then when it comes to people, I think of my 5th grade teacher, Mr. Moss, and I need to find him. So if y'all know a Henry Moss, who is from Harlem, help me.
You from Harlem?
No, I'm from Atlanta, born and raised, Southwest Atlanta. But no, he really helped to shape my life almost. He taught the whole class chess. And every day he played Paid in Full. I don't remember much. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And he put me on the Most Def and just, gave us some real deal life lessons. And because of him, he also made us believe in what we wanted to do. He asked us all what we wanted to be when we grew up. And he made sure that the sky was not a limit. Because that's when I first learned what an entrepreneur was. And I knew I wanted to be that. But yeah, he inspired me and to just keep going.
That's really powerful. Taking it back to
strategy too.
Yeah, I was gonna say chess. So what age was this? They were teaching you all chess?
5th grade.
Yeah, 5th grade chess. I can see where that kind of sharpened your planning skills and your strategy development skills, and then also taking it back to that road of consistency. Is that man? That's so powerful. I'm gonna use that. And so we're gonna be wrapping it up here shortly. And I want to, I'm really curious as someone who plans events and does the cooking and also does photography. All of these are really time consuming things to do. So how do you manage your time? How do you get things done and manage to stay in a good mood all the
time? So there's a thing I like to call nap roulette. When I fall asleep, I'm asleep.
That is funny. That is funny.
But I write it all down. I have so many notebooks, and even my notes and my phone and my iPad. I can't even tell you how many pages those are. But just writing everything down, and sometimes I even text myself. When I have to remind myself, because sometimes I won't check my notes, but I need to have it on hand, just a quick reference. Even my grocery list, I would text myself. But just writing it all down, or even taking pictures. Literally, I would have team meetings. When I saw that meme, I was like, yeah, that's me. But really, yeah. So writing it all down and making sure it makes sense. Sometimes I would just schedule days. I would do a timeline on what I'm gonna do each day, and it really just rolls together when it makes sense. Really. So for instance, I had. This year, actually, when we did our 3K, and right after the 3K, I had a private event that I had to plan, cater, shoot, all of that, and staff. So I did both of those major events in one day, and the way I got it done, I had to delegate.
Yeah.
Woo. But with the planning course of it, I had to do that whole party. he booked me Tuesday, and the event was Sunday.
Oh, wow.
So just doing that all within a few days. Finding the venue during COVID was a challenge, but got it done.
Yeah.
But it all took just having that timeline, writing everything down of what needs to get done, and just checking it off.
Mm-hmm.
It feels better when you could check it off and then remove something off. So when you see the list get shorter and shorter, it's like, I'm almost done.
It's kind of like that finish line, or you can see visual progress, and then you can also kind of see where you're at. Yeah, that's really good stuff in the way of time management. The one thing I always tell people, because I juggle a lot too, and really when it comes to the idea of manifesting ideas or making ideas happen, it starts with putting it on paper, because that's the first time it becomes tangible. Like it's outside of your mind. You said what?
I just pulled my vision board that I did earlier this year back out the closet.
It's about time for another one, right? For 2021?
Yeah, a lot of the traveling didn't happen, but I feel like the Olympus was on there, but that's next year. I'll just add more to it.
Got some rest. You got the battery recharged, so now you can get back out there.
Right.
Nice. Well, Summer, that's all the questions I have for you, but I'm gonna leave it open to you. Is there anything you would like to tell the people before we go?
Well, definitely check out Everyone Eats Foundation, everyoneeatsfoundation.org, everyoneeats_foundation on Instagram, and everyoneeats_ on Twitter. I'm Summer Jo. You can find me at the Summer Jo on Instagram. summerjo.studio is my website. And also SJO Studios on Instagram. Summer Eats with a Z on Instagram. What else? Really just take care of yourself first, and the rest will fall in line.
Yeah, and like you say, the money will come. I saw that when you were going through all your names. I'm like, you remember those name belts that people used to have, but it had the electronic one that has stuff scrolling across? You just need one of those. Like, you just follow me at. But yeah, before we let you go, first off, thank you for your time. And as one of our inaugural Atlanta Brains guests, I would like to bestow you with one of our
thank you
Atlanta Brains shirts. And really our goal with that is to really take over the city, so you get an opportunity to be one of the first people with it. And so really, I wouldn't rather have it on anyone else. And with that, guys, thank you all for your time. Summer, thank you. And we're going to go ahead and get out of here. You all have a nice day.